Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Daily Thread. Okay, well, it's sunny. It's
unusual. We've been puttering around with the settings and the lighting and the cameras because we are not used to.
I know, not used to the lighting. We're not used to the sun being out.
That threw us off completely.
Completely threw us off. Okay, so what do you say we get to our first story for today?
Let's go jump right in.
Okay, jumping right in. Okay, so this morning around 9:30 a.m., a video went around from a Delta airline flight where a Hasidic Jew was thrown off the flight. Now, the story as it's being reported is that this Hasidic Jew reportedly put too many items in the overhead bin of this flight. And when he was ordered to check some of it, check it in, instead of having it on the plane, he refused to do that. He didn't want to check in his luggage. Could be they were going to charge him for it. Maybe he wanted it with him. I don't know. The stewardess supposedly came, took the stuff down.
Flight attendant.
What is that? Is stewardess canceled?
Yeah. Don't say stewardess. Stewardess is really condescending.
Is it?
The flight attendant.
I'm cute. Like,
yeah, they're called flight attendants, not stewardesses.
What is a
what do you call a male flight attendant?
A steward.
A steward? Oh, okay. What if his name is not Stuart? What if his name is John? I call him Stuart anyway.
I digress. Supposedly he put too many things, so the flight attendant took down the stuff and said you need to check it or you have to not fly with us.
Are you showing the video?
The video is a little long.
I know it's long, but show a 20-second clip.
I'll show some of the video. And ultimately, he took the stuff back and put it back up in the overhead bin, where then they kicked him off the flight.
Yeah, so he was flying from where? Fort Lauderdale?
He was flying from Fort Lauderdale to LaGuardia.
All right, so he really didn't need his tefillin at 9:30 in the morning.
So he
was planning on davening on that flight.
I don't know. So the video overhead shows that he had a suitcase, which everyone gets, but he also had his hat and his bekisha.
His bekisha. Oh, he folded it up.
He folded it up and put it up there. Okay, what else? But the flight. Here's my thing. Like, we'll talk both sides of this. But the flight was already fully boarded at this point, and it didn't seem like they had an issue with the room. Like, unless I didn't see the full picture here, but it looked like the flight was fully boarded. But again, let's talk about the real story here. And this is a tweet that went out this morning when this happened. The tweet was sent out at actually midnight. 1:24.
So it happened yesterday.
So it must have happened yesterday, yeah.
Yes.
So the tweet says, "Open racism by Delta Airlines staff on flight from Fort Lauderdale to LaGuardia, who removed a Hasidic Jew for carrying his religious hat and jacket and luggage. We ask all religious Jews to stop using Delta until these #Nazi staff gets fired for religious discrimination against Jews." And they tagged the ADL. I don't think the ADL...
No, it's ridiculous. First of
all...
And
I want to just say that the first reply to this tweet was someone named David. He said, "My grandparents would have done anything to have had such Nazis." Yeah.
And listen, it's we don't do ourselves a service by abusing the language, anti-Semitism, Nazis. We watered down the impact of what the use of those words are supposed to mean by using it almost every day in an everyday language. So whether it's Jew hatred, Jew hatred is just another word for anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
But people don't use the word Jew hatred because it's just very descriptive. But it's the same thing.
Listen, first of all, I have a few thoughts on this. I
have a few thoughts on this too. But
you go first. You're older.
First of all,
you're a little older.
The overhead luggage bin is a big problem, generally speaking. Generally speaking, people are coming on the planes with gigantic things. Okay, now in all these years of traveling, I don't know, mostly between New York and Florida, I guess mostly, they have this thing that you could measure your carry-on bag because it has to be a certain
dimensions,
certain size, certain dimensions to qualify to fit into the overhead bins. But no one measures them anymore.
Right.
And I got stopped once, and we had an argument with a person at the gate about the size of the bag. Whether he wanted to check it. We wanted
You
to
got,
take
you
it
got
on
into an
board.
argument?
Yeah.
What
because
happened?
I felt the bag was the proper measurement.
Can I ask you a question? At any point in that argument, did you feel that you were being discriminated against because you're Jewish?
It probably crossed my mind while we were singled out.
Justly or not?
When everybody else, if you know what I mean, was going onto the plane with gigantic suitcases.
Oh, so it did cross your mind.
They go with these wheelies that are up to their shoulders. They wheelie them, and the wheelie's up to their shoulders. On top of the wheelie is another bag attached to that bag, so it really becomes part of the first bag.
So now that we dissected the entire overhead bin issue again, like I don't know if this
There's two problems here.
I don't know if this yet should have been kicked off. That's A, but I think the bigger problem here is I don't want to say just this tweet, but like let's break it down. They told him either you're going to check in the luggage or you're not going to fly with the plane.
All right.
So he could have checked in the luggage. The flight attendant's certainly not a Nazi. The guy was given a choice.
No, they didn't mean that she was a Nazi. They probably.
I know they didn't literally mean that, but
that type of behavior. But they're too free. They're too free with those expressions. And like I said a minute ago, it dilutes and waters down the impact of what those words really mean in a historic context, and they shouldn't be just used willy-nilly,
Willy-nilly, yeah.
Willy-nilly. It shouldn't be used
Willy-nilly.
casually. It shouldn't be used cavalierly, if you know what I mean.
Cavalierly.
Yeah, I'm not talking about
The Cleveland Cavs?
basketball teams either. I'm talking about with a small c, cavalierly. They shouldn't be just used because those are powerful words. They're very meaningful, and it's offensive to people that suffer through those periods in our history. To have those used words because your bag's not being put up on top of your seat.
Kind of ridiculous. It's kind of ridiculous.
Okay, I don't disagree with you about that.
One of the members of my staff was in Europe. They live in Europe, and they did an interview with a Holocaust survivor, Lily Ebert. She wrote a book, Lily's Promise, and she speaks about the atrocities. And it's apropos because January 27th, that's Holocaust Remembrance Day, which is coming up.
Right.
And we need to definitely stop using this word. And it's in general. I think we do this with disorders as well. When someone sees someone who's skinny, oh my gosh, that person's anorexic, or that person has OCD. These are like actual diagnoses. You can't just use the most extreme word for something and just like label it.
I think we discussed this a while ago, and I think I mentioned that people like to draw definitive conclusions with absolutely no information whatsoever.
Yeah, I remember that.
They just want to express their expertise on a certain topic. Did they do any research? Did they read anything about it? No. Yeah. But what are you mixing me up with the facts for?
And my other point is like boycott Delta. We already boycotted Frontier. We boycotted JetBlue. We boycotted Spirit. We boycott Delta. Who can we fly with? Is it going to be a Yiddish airline? Are we going to have like are we going to have Confe Nasharim Airlines?
Where in Europe do you have staff? I also have staff in Europe, by the way.
In Amsterdam.
Amsterdam, really?
Yeah.
Graphic artists?
No, it's actually content, social media content strategy.
Yeah, our newspaper graphics are done in the Ukraine.
That's not in Europe.
Sure it is. It's Eastern Europe.
It's Eastern Europe. I might have to leave that one in.
Yeah, you should cut that out.
I should?
Yeah, I think so. But we have staff in Ukraine.
I kind of think we should do a poll.
And it's been very challenging.
People who thought Ukraine is not in Europe.
We're coming up to the first anniversary of the war between
Is Russia in Europe?
Ukraine. What?
Is Russia in Europe?
Eastern Europe.
So it's not really Europe.
What?
When you speak about Amsterdam and London.
You look at the map of the world, they're all attached.
Okay, fine. And we're in Europe also.
No, we're not. We're not attached to the European continent.
I'm going to stop talking about countries now. Okay, so that's that story. That happened.
Maybe that guy didn't want his tefillin lost.
Maybe he wanted a lawsuit. Maybe he wanted to be on Dan's deals. I don't know.
Maybe he wanted to keep his tefillin overhead because you put it in your suitcase. There's always a risk that your luggage is not going to make it. If you're flying to New York, for example,
it was not even his tefillin. It was his hat and bekisha. Again, like I'm not posketing whether it was the right move by the flight attendant or not. I'm just saying like our reaction can't always be Nazi.
You're absolutely right. You have to shmir salashin. That's a good, that's a good
Shmiras-
campaign. Shmiras Lashon shouldn't
But
necessarily.
not about Lashon Hara, but
It doesn't have to only be Lashon Hara. When you misuse important words, you're not watching how you're using your language properly,
right.
and you should be aware of the words that you're using and what they mean to other people that experience different things, and be mindful. It's called mindfulness. Right?
Yeah,
You did
definitely.
programs about mindfulness.
Absolutely.
What mindfulness means? It means you got to keep it in your mind.
To be mindful.
I think it means being mindful, not hiring someone to be mindful for you, but to actually be mindful.
So I saw this story online from Bar Park 24, I believe.
Yeah.
Yankel Pfefferkorn, who's an actual person,
Really?
Yankel Pfefferkorn, you should know. He goes to every bris and he records the bris, and he has a recording of the person being named. He's actually in Bar Park Center now, and he would appreciate visitors. I think he's room 331, it says.
You giving out his room number?
I think he wants visitors. Yeah, it's online. Bar Park 24.
Bar Park Center?
Yeah.
Well, I could tell you,
How's Bar Park Center?
I love the Bar Park Center. They do a great job. I know David Greenblatt and Nachman Feig, who are the administrator and the assistant administrator of the Bar Park Center. I've had a relative there on occasion, and they do an excellent job. Actually, this relative that we have is in Maimonides Hospital right now. Actually, she's probably getting out today.
Great,
but it's very hard. It's very easy to get somebody into the hospital. It's very difficult to get them out. There's no serious health issues. Whatever it was dealt with.
Is that like a billing insurance type of thing?
No, it's just you have to jump through hoops to get people out of the hospital. So this is an elderly person, and the home care agency called me this morning while I was parking in my car. Is the patient out of the hospital yet? No, I said she might be coming out today. Okay, which hospital is she in? I said Maimonides. He said, what? I said Maimonides. He said, Mamamad? I said, no, Maimonides. He said, can you spell it for me? I said to him, I was parking my car. I said, no, I can't spell it for you. Look it up online. I'm not, you never heard of, you work in Borough Park. You run a home care agency in Borough Park. You never heard of Maimonides Hospital. And you want me to spell it for you? Maybe I can spell Mississippi for the guy. Mississippi. Something like
Is that how you spell it?
I think so. Mississippi.
Could be.
Mississippi, Maimonides. I know how to spell Maimonides, but I'm not going to. The guy never heard of Maimonides. I have to spell it for him.
You're really, what was in your coffee today? You're really firing. Where did you get your coffee from?
Across the street, just regular, in Chase Bank. Just regular.
Does Chase serve coffee?
Not anymore, not since COVID.
They used to serve coffee?
Chase used to serve, Capital One down the block used to serve coffee.
The bank stopped serving coffee.
Since we're talking about this guy's tefillin,
I don't even think we're ever talking about his tefillin, to be honest.
No, there's a story this morning on Aretz Sheva.
Let's see this segue.
A study finds wearing tefillin has.
You just created a segue that didn't exist, but go for it.
Okay, a study finds wearing tefillin has heart benefits.
Heart benefits, like physical heart benefits?
A study from the University of Cincinnati found that putting on tefillin has cardiovascular benefits.
How?
The research discovered that Jews who regularly use tefillin in their religious practice may receive cardiovascular health benefits. A study published in the Plus One journal concluded that the benefits are from reduced ischemic blood flow, preconditioning, which protects against damage caused by heart attacks. It's a very long piece. Tefillin is placed on the non-dominant arm. If you're a righty, you put on the left. If you're a lefty, it's placed on the non-dominant arm around the bicep and the forearm in a fairly tight manner. It is never worn in a fashion as to occlude the blood flow, said Dr. Jack Rubenstein of the Division of Cardiovascular Health at the UC College of Medicine. A couple of more lines. This is traditionally worn for about 30 minutes continuously during prayers, which involve sitting and standing, resulting in occasional retightening of the strap around your arm. So there's health benefits to wrapping tefillin around your arm, and the doctor said 30 minutes. So if it takes you 5 or 10 minutes to davening, you're not helping yourself.
That's really interesting. I think that's Chabad's new marketing push.
You need 30 minutes. And also, an acupuncturist told me a while ago that the shell roche is on the head hits a certain point that creates calmness in a person. Because if you go to acupuncture, without
is acupuncture legit?
Absolutely. they will put a needle right into the top part of your head over there. Of course, that promotes calmness, and it deals with anxiety and people that talk too much when they're juiced up on caffeine. So those things help. Oh, but this is a fascinating study. You see, Marabu Masecha Hashem. You see the great wonders. We wear tefillin. It says, you have to. We learn out from the Chumash that you have to wear tefillin.
Yeah.
It's in the Torah. The whole idea of tefillin shalyad, tefillin shalosh, but it's not pashut. It's not stam. You see that it has terrific health benefits.
I hear you.
In terms of the ischemic blood flow. You know what the ischemic blood flow is?
Do you?
No, I don't. But,
neither do I.
Let
me ask you a question.
I mean, there are doctors in the audience, and they should really chime in on this.
If a doctor's listening to us right now, then that'd be great. That'd be pretty cool. Let me ask you a question. First of all, while we're still in this episode, I want to say to people, if you could please leave a review on this podcast. If you listen to it every day, if you enjoy it, go to Apple and leave a review. Write something nice. We'll read it on the next episode, and we'll give you a shout out. But do you know what Chat GPT is?
Chat?
GPT.
Oh, is that the AI?
Yeah, you know what it is?
Yeah, I have it on my phone.
So it passed the bar exam, MBA operations exam, medical license exam. What's next?
I have AI on my phone. I downloaded it after I heard about it from somebody.
You could probably write for the newspaper articles.
No. But I have. I'm going to show you after the show. I just to practice. I asked, "What's today's date?" I never get the right date.
What are you using?
I don't know.
Tell me something to type in now to Chat GPT.
What's today's date? Put in what's today's date.
What's today's date? I mean, that's fairly simple. If I pass the bar exam, I think it'll get the date right. Today's date is October 21st, 2020.
You see, I have the same problem.
What's with that?
I don't know. It's fundamental. It's a simple thing. If they can't get the date right.
Can you give me a more complex question?
Why can't I get the date right?
That is ridiculous. We just found the flaw in Chat GPT.
I don't know.
Why can't they say GPT?
Ask it.
GPT.
Ask it again.
What's today's date?
Yeah.
It's loading. It's thinking.
Does it do audio or just you can only?
Today's date is August 20th, 2020.
I don't. Maybe it's misunderstanding the question. Maybe you should talk slower. What is?
How about this? What's today's Hebrew date? If this gets it correct, and Chat GPT is a yid. Today's Hebrew date is the 5th of Teves.
No, it's the 2nd of Shvat. We got an AI problem.
This is pretty bad. Now, what was?
That's.
But if you ask it to sum up the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, it'll give you a full answer.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you try that?
Should I try it?
Why don't you write what is tefillin?
What is tefillin? It says today's date is September 22nd.
Well, there's something wrong with
No, I'm kidding. It said tefillin, sometimes known as phylacteries or phylacteries, are boxes which contain small parchment scrolls inscribed with specific Hebrew prayers.
It doesn't get it. It's not good at dates.
Yeah, listen, it's not. There's other people who are not good at dates also.
What do you mean?
Like people are not good at dating.
Oh, dating. You show that's some
segue.
Some segue.
It's still typing, by the way. It has a really long explanation for tefillin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, what else do you have for today?
I don't know. What else you got?
AI passed the bar exam, and
yeah. So someone commented over here. Could you ask AI how to properly handle classified documents and not leave them in your garage?
Yeah.
Elon Musk tweeted the other day. We should have a list of places that Joe Biden didn't bring classified documents.
Okay, let me tell you about my schedule for the next 2 days.
Yes, because that's what we're curious about.
Okay, listen, it's unusual. Baruch Hashem. It's downstairs. I should have brought it up here, but
you're wearing a nice, first of all, polo shirt today. I know it's sunny today, but it's still like 30 degrees.
I know. I want a different subject. I had an MRI this morning because I have a pinched neck, a pinched nerve, between my neck and my shoulder. I have a pinched nerve, and it like causes me some kind of discomfort. So I'm trying to address that. And my doctor, my orthopedist, wanted me to get an MRI. So I went inside this gigantic machine that makes a tremendous amount of noise.
So you had to wear a polo shirt?
No, I just wanted to be comfortable. I wanted to be comfortable.
Okay.
I'm going home. I'm gonna get dressed because we have a busy You have a busy day today.
What's your busy day like?
Well, the busy day starts. It's this evening. Today is Tuesday. The Mike Pompeo book. It's called Not an Inch.
Not an inch.
Not an inch. Mike Pompeo, the former Secretary of State, the former head of the CIA, and a possible serious candidate for presidency of the United States.
I don't know about that, Abba.
It's very early, and I know you like.
You want to see early polls?
I know you don't like to talk about politics.
No, but I'm just saying the polls this morning.
I don't know what the polls show.
The polls show this morning via the Daily Thread.
I know it's going to show Gavin Newsom and Michelle Obama as the top Democrats to be president of the United States. I kind of
feel if Michelle Obama runs, she might actually cause us. No, but the 2024 National Republican primary shows Donald Trump at 55%, Ron DeSantis 29%, Mike Pence at 6%, Nikki Haley at 3%, Ted Cruz at 1%, Paul Ryan at 1%, Mike Pompeo at 1%, Kristi Noem at 1%, and Tim Scott at 0%.
1%?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who is this via? That's Emerson polling.
Anyway,
Emerson.
It's very early.
It's 1%, Abba.
He's a serious candidate. Okay. He finished.
Besides, you say so.
Besides being the head of the CIA and also Secretary of State, that did oversee and worked very closely with President Trump on the Abraham Accords, and also on transferring the capital of Israel, the U.S. embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, which were very important issues. He finished top of his class at Harvard. Is a lawyer, a former congressman.
Could we keep it real?
And top of his class at West Point.
He's not going to be.
Nachi, that poll's ridiculous. Donald Trump 55%.
But you think we're? I mean, I hope.
Ask AI. Who's going to be the next president of the United States?
But
I'll probably say Uncle Pfeffercorn.
Mirza Shemish, have Refuah Shalema. Go visit him at room 331 in the Bar Park Center.
Anyway,
by the way.
So tonight I have dinner. I'm not going to say where because you have to go through security to get into the dinner tonight. But it's in New York, and it's going to feature Mike Pompeo. He's going to be signing books. And
are you going to vote for Mike?
I'm not going to say yet. I haven't made a decision.
Okay.
And also coming in tonight from Israel for the Pompeo event is Simcha Rothman, who is a member of
the Knesset
Ben Gvir party.
Okay.
The religious Zionist party. He should be here in New York already, and we're having a reception for him tomorrow night here in the Five Towns. He's head of the law committee. In the Knesset. Very nice. So he's not very well known. He's not always in the newspapers, but he's an important, smart player in Israeli politics, and his head is in the right place in terms of the future of Eretz Yisrael. And so we're going to see him tonight at the Pompeo event, and we're having an event for him tomorrow night. So, I'm going to write a little bit about the Pompeo event in this week's paper.
But, we can't wait for tomorrow's episode. You probably have a lot to say.
Yeah, and then Rothman will be tomorrow night, so I don't have time really to cover that because we'll have already gone to press by then tomorrow night.
Okay, so that's our episode for today.
That's it. How long did you run?
22 minutes. But listen.
Yeah. Well, I should tell you something about this week's parsha. As long as you have only 22 minutes. What? Today's Tuesday? It's too early? Anyway, it's a long parsha.
Parsha's bow.
But a very small item. Parsha's bow. I love the way when Paro finally acceded to Moshe Rabbeinu's request that the Jewish people should go out to serve God into the Midbar.
Yeah.
For 3 days. He asked them to go for 3 days.
3 days.
And Moshe Rabbeinu had that wasn't true. They weren't going for 3 days. They weren't planning on coming back. He told them they're going out for 3 days. And Pari says there was all these makas that he suffered through. He was entertaining the possibility that he was going to let them go. Okay, then he asked Moshe Rabbeinu in Pasha's Bow, okay, who's going to go? So Moshe Rabbeinu should have said, this is something I've been thinking about.
You find this humorous?
Yeah, I think it's funny. Moshe Rabbeinu should have said, Paro, everyone is going, but he didn't answer that way. What did he say? He said, our older people are going, our younger people are going, our men are going, our women are going, our children are going, our cattle are going. In other words,
that's everybody.
Going.
Yeah,
it was kind of like a.
It's a soft way of breaking it to Paro, maybe. It's
why couldn't he say to him, "Everyone is going"?
Because that's like strong terms.
What?
Everyone's going. No, maybe list them one by one.
Oh, you want to know who's going? He expected to say. So Pari probably expected them to say, "Oh, the men are going. The women are going to stay here. The children are going to stay here. The cattle's going to stay here.
Okay.
The goats are going to stay here."
Why did he do that?
I think it was. I think it's part of the way. The way the Rebbeinu Shalom decided he's going to play with Paro. He was playing with him like a yo-yo.
That's your shot.
That could be when the yo-yo was invented.
Could be
the way the Baruch Shalom was.
The Malchus also
was toying.
like
he was
yo-yo.
toying. He was toying with Paro. Anyway, I think we covered everything we wanted to talk about.
Yeah. So,
today.
quick reminder: please leave a review on this podcast. Subscribe if you can subscribe. You can also listen to this podcast on the Meaningful Minute app, and also 24/6. So if you have that, make sure to search the Daily Thread. Well, yeah, it's up there.
24/6 is functioning.
It's functioning. It's doing well.
To that crisis.
Survived the ambush. It's up there and it's functioning. And it's a great app.
Very interesting. People, they try to, like you said, ambush them, and then we're unsuccessful. All right, let's go to the next thing. Who are we going to ambush next?
Who is next? Hopefully not us. Anyways, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you all and speak to you all tomorrow.
Bye.